Hello and welcome to the Bro Chat for the People podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by... Is the U.S. becoming a police state? I don't know. Is it? You tell me. All right, let's go. I'm sorry. All right. Well, we have, that was, for all you confused listeners out there, that was Tom's favorite new song. He's really into K-pop these days. And
it was Danny who suggested
it. It was, Korean pop, I believe is what they call it.
It's called Ice Cream Cake by Red Velvet.
Oh, Red Velvet. Wow. Subsidy of, Starbucks. Oh, goodness.
All right, anyway. We got a viewer... A listener.
We have, yes, Mr. John.
Hello.
What's your middle name? John P. Cheffers. Do you have like one of those pen names? Do you have a pen name for your editorials that you write in the New York Times?
I would really.
The Washington Post.
Yeah, if I was a writer for a fancy newspaper or a magazine, like
there are no fancy newspapers anymore. They're dying.
Born in the wrong century. Anyway, yeah, I would probably go by J. Percy Cheffers Esquire, because
Esquire.
Why not be an Esquire?
Well, you have to get a degree before you're called that.
No, you could just Esquire.
No, I guess you could just Esquire to something. Wow, John. Very good, sir. Very good. You could just Esquire to that. Oh, dear God. Well, what are we talking about tonight, Thomas?
Well, we did tease you guys with... What did we tease them about?
Police state.
Police state. But we got something far less interesting to talk about before we get
Teddy Pence.
Even before... No, yeah, that is the least interesting
I think
thing.
Teddy
I was going to
Pence
say
is
there was another not interesting thing that we have to talk about that we have to talk about.
We're obligated to contractually.
But why are we talking about Teddy? I know we were making jokes about him before the podcast.
Because we want to make those jokes about him on the podcast, because he doesn't listen anyway. Because if we shame Teddy into listening, then maybe he will listen. But he doesn't listen now. And I know a lot of you listeners out there are close friends of mine and people that have known, Teddy and I. And you guys know that we're as tight-knit as they come. We are like... Two peas in a pod. Two turtle doves at Christmas time. I mean, it's just it's just a little bit ridiculous and sometimes over the top with Teddy and I. But he doesn't even listen.
He has yet to be on the podcast
to my baby. Well, because it doesn't seem like he actually wants to. I say, Ted, you want to be on the podcast? He said, yeah, dude, that'd be awesome. And then he never follows through. As if I'm the one who's supposed to contact him. Unbelievable.
Oh, apologies to all the loyal listeners out there. We were scheduled for yesterday, but since we're not sponsored, we have a free software which sometimes screws us over, and we record an entire podcast and then find out that we don't actually have a podcast to give you guys.
But hey, and it was a good one, too.
Which happened last night. We're going to try to re-record it on sometime soon.
Yeah, we will re-record it, and I'll be better prepared. Oh, wait, but you guys didn't know that.
More drunk.
Or less.
I was completely sober. I think if I was more drunk, I would have been able to combat Mikey Watkins a little bit better. If I was on Mikey Watkins' level in terms of, inebriation, I might have been able to compete a little better.
Hopefully Catherine doesn't listen to that.
Oh, Catherine? Oh, Mikey will probably listen to it.
Shout out to Catherine.
Hey, Catherine. Congratulations. We're looking forward to baby number 2. I'm kidding, but I'm not, because Catherine, well, if Catherine is listening, she knows that the last time we talked, she was like, I think 7 kids is good, and Mikey and I were both like, what about 15? Get out of here with that weak shit.
All right, so just talking about the elephant in the room.
You?
Hilary.
I'm almost. No, yeah, I'm pretty bad these days. Yeah.
Good
That
thing
was
you got
hard.
that beard to cover up most of your elephant.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. See, so you know what? On-air fights add drama. And I've really been wanting to have one, but we always agree on everything, so we haven't really had an on-air fight yet. It hasn't come to blows, at least. And that I think that would add a lot.
Well, now it can actually come to blows because we're in our Florida
We are
studio
in our
together.
Florida studio. Mm-hmm. It is beautiful, I must say. The ceiling was redone. Oh, gorgeous mahogany. Or is that cherry? Oh, goodness. But yeah, we can talk about Hilary Clinton for a little while, I guess.
Not too long.
So, no, we're gonna talk about this because, when our peer Mark Levin talks about things,
He also has a podcast.
yeah, quick shout out, just trying to get
Mark.
his name out
Pat
there.
tip Mark Levin.
Hey, Mark, we've been listening to you faithfully. We hope you really achieve that level of success that you're looking for. But we got your back, bro. Anything you need, we've got you. See, now it's like maybe somebody close to Mark just so happens to hear this, and then he's like, "I love these guys. Two young conservatives."
Should I just tag Mark Levin into every single comment that
I
we
think you
have
should.
in the
I think you
podcast?
should. I think you should. And then he'll hear us, and he'll be like, "Oh, two young conservatives. I love these men. Yeah. I love them. I love them."
Either that, or it'll be something along the lines of, "Oh, they think they can use my name? I'm going to sue their pants off!"
He wouldn't do that after I told him that I'd listened to him every single night for the past 6 years straight.
It's true, he wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't.
Although
he wouldn't.
he might say-
Plus, I don't have any money, so he wouldn't be able to get anything out of me.
Good luck. You can have this really nice mic.
Which is broken, by the way. But anyway, Hillary Clinton is, in how I described her last night was something of a garbage person disposal worth of trash buckets or something.
Oh man, it was better last night.
It was off the cuff last night.
It was off the cuff and it was perfect. It was very witty, Thomas. I wish you could come back to that. I wish you could find that again.
It's hard. It's hard to
Another
recreate
drink.
these type
Another
of
drink.
things.
Yeah, that's true.
But really, so she was this asshole.
Wow.
Sorry, pardon my French.
We like to use the word bumhole. That's much more clean.
Commie.
She's not a commie.
Not she, Commie. That's what I'm calling him. The FBI director, Commie. I don't know how his name's pronounced, but it looks like Commie.
I mean, it's Comey, and he's a lifelong Republican, actually.
Okay, he's a lifelong Republican.
Yeah, so is Mitch
Look.
McConnell.
So exactly.
No, you're right.
So is Mitch McConnell.
That doesn't make Mitch McConnell Mitch McConnell's not a commie. I'm sorry, he's just not a commie.
Well, this guy happens to be Commie, and he
Comey.
happens to be.
And I'm not defending the guy, but Comey, and he's not a commie. I'm sorry, I have to.
Are you
disagree.
sure he's not a Commie?
Yeah, although he is kind of comely, if you ask me.
Oh, John, keep him coming, big guy.
Bringing the terrible puns to the podcast.
Oh, he's a comely looking guy. Oh my word! Oh, I just can't get enough.
So anyway, she was. She should have been indicted for her.
Yeah,
What do they call it? The
Gross negligence.
gross negligence.
Yeah.
Some might call it. What's that word? For,
Criminal.
well, criminal, but
Treasonous.
treason.
Alcoholic bitch? Wait, no, that's not it.
No.
That's
Elizabeth Warren.
Howl. Wait.
Yeah. Liz Warren, she's part Native American, guys. Sure, Liz. Sure. She's not card carrying. That's all I know. But yeah, no. I mean, Hillary. What was she? Supremely uncareful.
Yeah.
What do we call it?
I think
Because it was everything as close as you can get to
very
gross
careless.
negligence.
Yeah, he said she was extremely careless or thoughtlessly careless, or it's not like leave your keys on the counter sort of careless. It's more like...
Although that is careless.
That is careless. It's more like leave your child in the car with the windows up kind of careless for like 6 hours while you go get a manicure. That's the kind of careless he was talking about. Like, you might qualify it as gross negligence. You might be in trouble for that kind of thing with the law if your name wasn't Hilary Clinton. So, yeah, it's pretty atrocious behavior on her part. Like,
sick of this.
I don't know how you can call like arranging to have a secret server set up in your basement. Like, do any of you guys know what a server is like? A server is not like something you just. A server is not something you just sort of put in your basement or just have.
No.
Like, how many of you have a server in your house? None of you. None of you. For your own private email account, right? Like. And of course, like, do you do that on accident? Oh, it was so careless for her to take that secret server and put it in her basement and never tell anyone about it and never, like, use her work email. Like, really? I don't know. It seems pretty crazy to me.
Look, I am sick and tired of this because, quite frankly, I spent some time in the working for the government and those home security things because we had a special key card and a special key card reader that had to be plugged into a certain software on your computer that made it secure, and it was just so inconvenient. I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with it.
Yahoo's way better.
Okay. So
my Yahoo password is really secure.
Digits long.
Okay, so hold on.
But there's a number and there's a special character. Okay, no one's cracking
And
that.
that number is not your birth year. And those characters are not your last
Also,
name.
let's be honest, guys. Like, the Clintons, we Americans, maybe back in the day, we didn't want a royal family. We're revolting against England and King George and monarchy in general. But, come on, today, we look at the royal family over in England, we're like, oh, why don't we have one? So we prop up people like, the Kardashians or
the Kennedys.
And the Kennedys. But, the Clintons are the ones today. And I, for one, am just sick and tired of you just disparaging their good name.
Yeah, disparaging the Queen. Sorry.
Yes, Queen Hilary.
So I love how Kami goes out of his way. The communist goes out of his way.
You gotta stop it.
To just kind of because I'm looking at his report right here. Let me read you some of these quotes from here that are the most interesting.
I can promise you I've read them.
Although we do not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
No, but see, the difference between extremely careless and gross negligence is a serious one, right, John? Our legal expert.
there's this wide disparity. There's this huge gulf that you wouldn't be able to recognize if you were looking at, if you looked at it, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But of course, there's this wide gulf. And of course, the head of the FBI is more than qualified to take care of that kind of distinction for you without passing it on to the Justice Department. So don't worry.
The FBI is the Justice Department.
Oh, also he...
All right.
Okay.
Hold on. Here's quote number 2. Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. Prosecutors necessarily weigh a number of factors before bringing charges. These are obvious considerations, like the strength of evidence, especially regarding intent.
Intent doesn't matter.
In gross negligence.
Wait, Tom, did you tell him that when you were talking to him, when you were interviewing him, getting these quotes?
I wish.
Did you tell him that intent doesn't matter? That's why it's called gross negligence. It doesn't matter what your intent was.
Okay, finally, the kicker here. This is the kicker.
Wait, there's something worse?
This is the real kicker. To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences. To the contrary, those individuals are often subject to security or administrative sanctions, but that is not what we are deciding now.
Hey, look, there's the similar, not the same, similar. Okay, that's all I have to say.
How many of you are running for the president of the United States? I didn't think that any.
Not even running.
How many-
Our next president.
How many of yeah, they're similar. Like
How many of you?
she has a. How many of you have an
husband who is
email
the president?
server in your basement?
Yeah.
How
Your
many-
own personal server in your fifth house.
Like I want to just point out
In your fifth
that,
house.
that
No, they struggle with poverty, Tom.
Oh yeah, those
The Clintons are very poor.
But the it's the
They
Clinton
had to
Foundation that
They-
has all the
that's
money.
right. But and then they siphon.
I just
Oh no,
wanna-
they don't do that either. They're very, very good and
I just wanna point out-
integrity-filled people.
I just want to really, really briefly touch on 3 separate cases that have been very public.
3?
Very, very briefly, right? First, Scooter Libby.
Well,
right?
Scooter Libby was different.
Okay, Scooter Libby.
He
no.
named a CIA
No, he
agent.
did not. He did not. Okay, Scooter Libby was eventually prosecuted for one reason. He lied to FBI investigators. That was the only charge. He served time in prison. Right? Ruined his life. He was not charged with sharing information about a CIA operative.
Well,
he
let's not pretend he didn't, though.
No, he didn't. In fact, they figured out that the leak was someone else. A different person did it. He lied about it,
was Roger
to the
Goodell.
investigators.
The
Right?
leak was Roger Goodell.
He lied about it to investigators. Danny, you can Google it if you want. But he lied about it to
I trust
investigators.
Google now.
No.
Google was getting Hillary elected.
Oh, no, fair enough. But, okay, so Libby lied to investigators and got prosecuted for it. Edward Snowden shared sensitive information and has basically been put in, basically is running for his life.
Edward Snowden.
And
Yes.
then you have
Yes.
General Petraeus, who shared classified information with a person, namely his girlfriend, who
Which is funny in itself.
was also cleared to receive classified information, although she was not need to know. And he didn't share it with anyone else. He was careless with it, and he got fired. And he's been
And he should
disgraced.
have. And he should have.
And he should have.
But you can't get
Fair
fired
enough.
from running for president, right?
No.
Well, no, you can still run.
But he also can't be fired from being a Clinton. Of course, like, the whole...
No, of course not.
And of course, like,
Would
Loretta...
Prince William be fired?
Like, Bill Clinton meets with Hillary Clinton... Bill Clinton meets with Loretta Lynch.
I was struggling with that earlier too.
Yeah, he meets with her, like, 5 days before this? And they have a private discussion for 30 minutes on a plane. They both happen to be in the same city at the same time. Shocking. No foresight at all. And he was just like, I'll just go talk to her. And so he goes over to say hi to her and tells all of the security, everybody, and all recording devices, all cell phones, everyone basically has to leave the area while the two of them talk for 30 minutes to say hi. Right? And after that, within 5 days, this case is gone. Right?
Oh, well, why is this a surprise?
But, I mean, but they were talking about grandchildren, right?
Yeah, sure.
Grandchildren. Of course, Bill Clinton probably has a lot of grandchildren to talk about. Who knows how
Wait,
many he
I don't know
has.
about grandchildren.
Step
No, that's what
grandchildren,
they said. They were talking about.
illegitimate grandchildren.
Wait,
Their
Does he have any-
excuse, their
no,
excuse
not
they
real.
were talking about
He
mean
only
children?
has. He only has one grandchild.
grandchildren. That's
He
what
only
they said.
has one.
He said that's what they were talking about.
Well, because he
Maybe
can't.
she has grand. He definitely
maybe.
doesn't have that many grandchildren.
He has
probably-
one
he
probably has a lot of
certainly
children.
has
Yes.
dozens of grandchildren.
No, children.
No, dude. How many illegitimate children do you think Bill Clinton has?
Well, and then
At
they probably
least
by now
15.
have had more.
Yeah.
children.
Okay,
Like,
that's a
he's
good
been-
point.
he's-
But, but
he's
Bill
been-
doesn't even know about those.
Bill's been Free Willy for a couple
No,
of decades
Bill's been
now.
paying those people off.
Don't you bring up Free Willy? I'll cry.
Slick Willy for a
Oh,
couple
Slick
of
Willy,
decades.
yeah.
He's
Oh.
a couple of decades
Hey,
now.
Slick Willy's
He's
my
got
idol.
oodles of grandchildren out there. I mean, none of them. He's disavowed all. of
Okay,
them.
look. You can disavow any effect that B.J. Clinton has on this.
Yeah, it's Bill Jefferson, by the way. B.J.
Yes,
Clinton.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Bill Jefferson.
You can whatever he does doesn't affect anything about Hillary's campaign because that's what the media's decided. So there's no point in really talking about all the terrible things that he's done and what he has. But
Yeah.
Hillary, is this going to cause something even within the Democratic Party?
No.
No, I'm not talking. No, I don't mean the party. I mean the people
Supporters
of the party.
Yeah,
There's already a fair amount of them that are huge supporters of Bernie and hate Hillary.
Yeah.
And literally the only reason they're probably going to vote this election is because they hate Trump even more.
Yeah.
So is this going to cause something in the Democratic Party to, again, not party, people, to...
Let me
I mean the whole Hillary not indictment
that question
thing.
with another question, right?
I hate people like that. Okay. No, you don't answer with a question.
No, I think
this is straight talk on the bro chat.
Okay. The no spin zone.
Okay, if you want a straight answer, the answer is generally not. Okay, the reason why I would say that is if you've ever been to a liberal institution like I have, a liberal institution of higher learning, or even a high school, and your teacher has made some preposterous opinion about liberalism or the world or history or whatever, right? And if you look around the class and all these people are thinking to themselves, all these young students are thinking to themselves, that sounds kind of dumb, or that I don't think that's right, or whatever they're thinking, right? How many of them speak up and say, oh, this is terrible? Or how many of them don't go along with it? The answer is almost none. And I would have to say that the number of people in the Democratic Party who support Bernie Sanders, the number of them who will actually do something about it, besides tweeting about it, besides posting something on Facebook about it, is almost none. They've been conditioned from their very beginnings to be subservient, to be obedient, to do whatever it is that they're being told to do. All they're going to need to do is read one article on BuzzFeed or whatever it is about how evil Donald Trump is and how they need to vote for Hillary to make sure he doesn't become president. And all of that will become moot. Nothing. Zero. Absolutely nothing. That's the answer.
Okay. I completely buy that because they're drones. As our peer Mark Levin would call them, drones.
Yeah, they're drones. A lot of Republicans are drones too. I mean, just look at the way they're following Donald Trump.
Yeah,
it's not just a Democrat problem. That's all I want to say.
Okay,
no, fair point. Very fair.
The only defense that I have.
It is very depressing.
No. The only defense that I have, though, is that initially this was not a Republican thing. Donald Trump appeared to a lot of people as a person who was against the establishment, even though it is patently false that he is against the establishment.
I don't think that's disputable at this point.
That is the way that he has sold himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And whether, I mean, as Dr. Eastland would say.
Tony Esolen, my former tutor.
Yeah, shut up. There's two parties in this country.
I know.
The stupid party and the evil party. And until Donald Trump was elected, I was a proud member of the stupid party.
Yeah, so was I.
I wasn't a proud member, but I was a member.
Yeah.
Look, there are a lot of stupid people in the Republican Party.
There are a lot of stupid
and there are
people
equally amounts of stupid people in the Democratic Party.
Just look at.
But it's not about it's not about your level of intelligence. It's not really what makes you a Republican or a liberal. It's about what your basically what you believe your principles and the principles of the country should be, and that's essentially what makes a difference. Like, there's equal number of stupid people on either side.
Yeah.
But
liberty,
and we are definitely not among them.
No, but, we definitely are among them. But hey,
the masses, here,
for the people. Yeah. But yeah,
I'm trying to formulate exactly what I want to say.
Well, you keep trying to do that, but we'll wait in silence for you to finish that.
Keep going. Yeah.
No, but you guys saw that Bernie is going to endorse Hillary in New Hampshire tomorrow?
Of course he is.
Because he's been
we always knew that.
Yes, but Bernie has been running on the fact that he hates, this whole Wall Street.
This Walmart Hillary Clinton.
Are you kidding me?
She wishes she was
Wall Street thing.
Are you kidding me?
But his supporters bought into it.
That is true.
That's the thing.
True. But the thing is that, man, people want to believe in the myth. People want to believe in the myth. Bernie is going to go and he's going to go speak to people at on Wall Street and give speeches, and he's going to get paid so much money.
Do you remember that article or that letter that George W. wrote?
No.
Mm-hmm.
During this election cycle, talking about Bernie and Hillary, talking about how it is a common political tactic to have two people running against each other. One which appeals strongly to the base, to the strong, very principled side, and to stir them up into a flurry, talking about all the very basic principles of your party, and then basically to be a straw dog, so that you never a real chance of winning, and then they throw their support behind,
and then you've got
the person
base,
who it is.
You've
got everyone all riled up, ready for this election. And then
excellent marketing. Yeah.
So it's some people might say it is the same type of thing with Cruz, and whether that is a thing, I hope not. But you never know.
In this,
politicians are greasy, slimy people.
I'm not going to say it.
Do you know who's not going to the convention? Rubio.
I think Cruz.
Rubio's running for Senate right now.
But Rubio's not going to the convention, which means that he might, in the end, be at least as principled as Cruz. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, but Marco is running for Senate now, though, so that's an excuse.
Excuses or whatever.
Excuse for what?
For not going to the convention.
Don't even tell me that these people are too busy.
He got in late. He got in late.
You fly in, you talk for 30 minutes.
You have your own private jet that could literally fly you wherever you want.
Get out of here. This is a
fine.
The only reason he wouldn't go is because he doesn't want to go, or he's not wanted there.
Oh, we know Marco hates Trump. We know that. With a burning passion, it's clear that Marco hates Trump.
Yeah, and the shocking thing to me is that Cruz is going to go to the convention. It shocks me, actually.
To me, though, Marco is an incredibly ambitious person, which is why I always had trouble trusting him. He's an incredibly ambitious person, and so
I don't trust him, but I think he's ambitious.
I think he was hurt, though. I think his pride was seriously hurt by Donald Trump, and that's a big reason why he wouldn't go to the convention.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think Marco's playing the long game, right? He's 20.
Oh, for sure.
He's like 30 or 40 years old. Like
20-something.
I don't know. He's like 30-something or 40
Marco's
years
like
old.
my age.
He's really young. No, he's really young.
He's 40.
I think he's playing the long game. I think he's going to decide. I think he's decided that this is a fury or a storm that's going to blow over, and that he's going to need, the Republican Party is going to seriously be in trouble after this election.
Yeah.
And that he's playing the long game.
Wait,
by
hold on,
not
hold
going
on.
along with Donald, he's playing the long game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hold on.
Donald is going to be a nuclear bomb for the party. What?
I thought we were talking about how terrible Hillary was.
How
terrible the Republican Party. How do we get onto this topic?
Well, it is terrible. I'm sorry, it's unavoidable.
They're pretty rotten.
But what I wanted to say about Bernie,
no.
What I wanted to say about Bernie, though, is that I think a lot of Bernie supporters aren't, to disagree with George W. and your point, Thomas. I think a lot of Bernie supporters are going to Gary Johnson. I honestly do believe that. Because they hate Hillary that much, and they bought in that much.
No, okay.
And they know how corrupt Hillary is.
Here's
and
my
Gary
rebuttal
Johnson's
to you.
not going to win, but he's going to get
my rebuttal
12
to you.
to 15% of the vote.
Here's my rebuttal to you. Those people that you're thinking are like that have not paid enough attention to the news to know that Gary Johnson is running as a libertarian, and that there is a libertarian party.
Fair enough.
I would disagree with that. I would say they've paid enough attention, but they might not go out and vote.
You think they would know?
I think
they would.
You think that they've read the news?
I think Bernie supporters actually followed Bernie religiously. Literally, it was
no. They followed Bernie.
No,
I don't think they followed anybody else everyone else was.
No, but because they follow Bernie, they're involved in in all the talk.
No. They're involved in Facebook and Twitter.
And Gary Johnson's all over those things.
I've never seen Gary Johnson on Twitter.
You guys have terrible friends on Facebook,
or we have good friends.
Well, yeah, limited friendships on.
I have
Facebook?
1,000 Facebook friends.
Oh.
You're so popular.
and 20 of them talk about Gary Johnson on a regular basis.
Very filling of you.
And you have 20 followers on No, 20 is a lot.
20 is a lot of followers. I don't think I
Twitter?
have that many followers.
Maybe 4.
No, on Twitter, I've got 160 followers on Twitter.
Ah.
My opinion means something. To 160 people at least.
Why haven't you changed your name to Bro Chat for the People?
I put it in my description. I put it in my profile.
Why don't you change your name
I'm a
to
bro chatter, and then I link the website, and I link the Facebook page.
Oh.
That's nice.
It's still not good enough.
Oh, fuck you.
Why don't you run the Bro Chat Twitter page?
I will run the bro chat Twitter page. I thought
need
about it, but Twitter's a thing where
But I
you
mean-
have to follow someone, or they won't follow you back unless you follow them, or they won't follow you unless you follow them. It's kind of a weird thing. Or you're like super famous.
I don't follow
like
anybody.
us. That's right. You follow
Exactly.
me.
Anyway,
I do follow. I don't know why I follow.
guys,
Oh, please,
guys.
look at my Twitter. It's worth something.
It's
Danny,
garbage.
can we stop talking about your insignificant?
Oh, get out.
social
Both of
media
you,
Okay,
both
okay.
of you Clinton haters up in my face about my Twitter. Jeez. My Twitter is legitimate and Clinton is legitimate. And Bill has a lot of illegitimate children, but they are legitimate people. That's all I want to say.
Okay, so
And you know what? I know we haven't gotten a lot. You know, we haven't set out to, we haven't accomplished what we set out to accomplish in this podcast. But you know what? It's not a complete waste. We've learned a lot about each other.
Let's talk about police brutality. Just to bring it on
please.
a lighter note. On a lighter note, let's talk about police brutality.
oh my gosh.
What have you done? Turn that thing off. Okay. Anyway, so Thomas wanted to bring up a subject, namely police brutality. Go ahead, Thomas.
Well, I mean, I wanted to get you guys' opinion, considering the social media storm that has fallen upon since, where was it, Minnesota? The guy, he was selling CDs or something. I don't even really know.
There was two separate cases.
One in LA, one in Minnesota?
It wasn't
Or
LA.
Louisiana?
No, Louisiana and Minnesota.
I just see LA, and I think LA, not Louisiana.
In both cases, what we have is, well, actually, in one case, what we have is a video, which seems pretty damning for the police officers involved, and in the other one, we have testimony from the girlfriend of a man who was shot, and the video is of after whatever happened. In one case, what we have. In Louisiana, what we have is the police were summoned to a scene where, when they were summoned, they were told that the suspect had a gun. Mm-hmm. And apparently, during the, incarceration or
Struggle.
during the struggle, right? The person involved resisted arrest, which is.
It's
guys,
dumb, but
guys,
hey, it happens, man.
Hey, it doesn't happen.
It
right?
does happen. You see it on cops all the time.
No, I know it happens a lot. I know it happens a lot. But I mean, like, in terms of if a police officer asks you to do
Trust
something,
me, dude. We see that cops all the time. No, dude, trust me.
bad
I know
boys,
a lot
bad
about
boys.
that.
Yeah, no, if a police officer asks you to do something, do it. Do whatever it is he's asking you. Don't forget that he's carrying a gun.
John, what
right?
if he's
Don't be stupid.
what if he's trying to tell me to kill somebody?
Oh, shut up.
Shut up, man.
Shut up, Danny.
What? What?
Look, if a police officer asks you to do something and it ends up being, if you think it's really wrong that the person's asking you to do that, sue the damn police department afterwards. Go get a lawyer.
Oh, you'll
they
get-
literally all over the radio, television, everywhere. You can
Morgan,
get
Morgan.
representation. You will get cut a check. Okay?
A big
Do
one,
not
too.
resist arrest if somebody asks you to do something, especially if that person has a gun.
Okay, look, we understand.
Okay.
Our viewers aren't stupid. Our 20 viewers aren't stupid.
Yes.
They know not to resist
At
arrest.
least
Yes.
20.
Okay. Anyway, so this
Let's not sell ourselves short.
this man resisted arrest, which is not a great idea. However, it does not merit him getting shot. Okay, and
What
according
does
to the
merit him getting shot?
what seems to happen in the video is that the police officers, at least one of the police officers, seems to believe that he's reaching or trying to get a hold of a gun. He did have a gun on his person.
In his pocket.
In
Not
his
just
pocket.
on his person. In his pocket.
In his pocket, he had the gun, right? That does not necessarily mean that the officers were in mortal danger or that he was in fact reaching for his gun. It's hard to know. However, one of the police officers pulled his firearm and shot the person to death, killing him.
Yes,
right?
to death.
Which is an absolute tragedy. Absolute. And it may have been the incorrect decision at the time. It's hard to know for certain until the investigation is finished. In Michigan, the individual was shot.
Minneapolis,
or whatever it is.
No one cares about Michigan.
No one cares about that.
Or Minnesota.
Well, do you guys have any listeners in Michigan? Whatever. Okay.
Doubtful.
Probably not. It's
Lucy
nowhere.
Forrest?
Okay, so
Maybe.
Hi, Lucy!
this police officer, this apparently the difference is this guy also had a firearm. However, he was also a concealed carry. He also had a concealed carry license.
Yeah.
The girlfriend's testimony. And remember, this is the girlfriend's testimony, so it's not necessarily the whole truth.
Absolutely.
But the girlfriend's testimony is that he was reaching for documentation, a license, a something or other, and the police officer apparently panicked or something. And the video that she took afterwards seems to show that he was in serious distress.
He was
the police officer.
The police officer was in serious distress.
Is that
oh my god!
Believing that he was in danger, he pulled his firearm and killed the man. Right when it was her statement that he was reaching for his license. However, the police officer is clearly saying in the video that I told him to keep his hands up, or I told him... Basically, the police officer told him not to do anything, and then he went to reach for his license. Perhaps, in a conversation, I don't know what was going on. None of us know what was going on.
Okay. Look. Nobody knows what's going on. No one knows what's happening. It's impossible to put yourself in that situation to think that what you might have done. Maybe for some reason or another, the guy, the cop may have been under some distress from some other previous thing that he had been. It's impossible to put yourself in their situation and think that maybe you did something different, or maybe you would have done something similar. But my question is here, because there is a certain valid, at least it's worth having a discussion about things like what causes this. Like this shouldn't be a regular thing that police shoot citizens in a way that is not in a firefight type thing. If that happens, it happens, but it shouldn't be such a regular thing that this comes up in conversation. And I'm sure pretty much every single time something unjustified happens, that it gets covered by the media. Basically the 4 times that it's happened in the past year or whatever, it's gotten covered. But at the same time,
Tom, get out of here.
Look, you were in the military.
Yes, I was.
How much training do you have to go through?
A lot.
To be basically certified to hold a weapon around other people who are holding weapons, and be authorized to essentially use it. You have to go through a lot.
A lot.
And it is I don't know this for sure, obviously, but there has to be less for a police officer.
Possibly.
And
police officer training is different. But it's different.
It's different. And it is, maybe there's something, because you can't just always pin this on, look, there are good cops and bad cops, and some cops are bullies, and some cops are really great cops, and sometimes cops make stupid decisions, and some cops make great decisions, and sometimes crazy shit happens. You can't just always just say that. There has to be something that you have to offer to the people who are, to the victims of these people, to the people who see this, and this shouldn't, it's not unjustifiable to think that this shouldn't happen.
No, I agree.
So you have to offer something. So whether it's the training of police officers, how do you train? The majority of people think that U.S. soldiers, when they go in, they don't go around shooting civilians who are just running around. They don't get panicked and crazy and start shooting civilians. Some of these people might have guns, so they start shooting it. That doesn't happen. Yeah. And if it did happen, you better believe it would be reported.
Yeah.
So there has to be some difference. Those guys are in a war zone under far more duress. than the
I
cops
would
who are
disagree.
in their own city.
I would disagree.
Now here's
I would
the
disagree
thing.
with that point.
No, but
that particular part of your point, I would disagree.
there has to be.
in that
You have there.
in that
There's
cops are told that based on on certain sort of criteria. It's like the cop has to it's like you walk up to a police you walk up to a car because a person was speeding, right, or because the taillight's out or whatever, right? Generally, you would think that the cop is just pulling you over to give you a ticket and take more of your money, right? That's generally what people think, right? But think of it from the police officer's perspective. Most of the times he walks up to the car, it's going to be a law-abiding citizen who's going to do exactly what he's told. And he's going to whatever, and he's going to write him a ticket, and it's going to be all routine, it's going to be fine, or whatever. But cops are expected to deal with a wide variety of situations. They're expected to walk into situations all the time where they have no idea who the person is that they're about to deal with and what they're capable of and what they're going to do.
You're saying that's different than a soldier.
A soldier is given
It
a
is.
mission.
It is.
They're given a mission. They're given a target.
It is different.
They're given a.
I would 100%. I would 100% that it is different. You mean like police officers have a much wider range of duties and a much different role is expected from a police officer.
I'm not talking about just a soldier in war. I'm talking about, say, the soldiers after the whole Iraq thing was over. The soldiers who were essentially peacekeepers / police officers who would basically be stationed in villages or in cities and such, and would be in charge of whatever it is that was, peacekeeping or just kind of like being there. Were similar.
But here's the thing. Hey, wait, can we listen to the guy who's actually been there? Sort of. Look. The guy who's actually been through the training, at the very least. There are valid points on both sides here. What I would like to bring up is the fact that many, many, many police officers that we have today are former military and served multiple tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan recently, in the last 15 years. Yeah. And that absolutely plays a role, and that absolutely has something to do with it, because then they do that, and a lot of them are still affected by PTSD and whatnot, and situations from their service, and then they go through this police training, and this police training tells them that, hey, look, this is life and death, or life or death, blah blah blah. This person in this situation is going to it might try this, might try that, might try this, might actually be a normal person. Yeah, and you react.
Yeah. So how many of these?
Here's the problem.
So there's been 4 or 5 major.
Oh, there's been a lot more than that.
No, like major media hit cop events.
In 2015,
there have been like.
I mean, come on,
15.
But you got the Michael Brown one, the cigarette seller one, the 2 from today.
There was the guy who the cop actually did straight up murder him, who was in South Carolina, who was running away from him. And it was all caught on video, and he got prosecuted, and he just shot him right in the back 6 times.
Which is not a story, by the way.
So that's like 5.
It was a story.
No, which was not a story after 3 days, because it was clear and the guy was prosecuted. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. The thing that bothers me about all these stories is that they're all focused on cases that are muddled, that are difficult to understand, in which the motivation.
Of course.
But those are the big cases, like the cases where the cop is clearly at fault and he clearly did something that was totally wrong, and he gets disciplined by the department,
or he was clearly right.
And either one. Right? There's no media anything, because it's not interesting.
Of course.
All they do is talk about
what else do we expect?
The very, very tiny minority, right? Tom, this is a country of 350 million?
330.
Yeah, so there's over 300 million people in this country, and a ton of cops, and a ton of people, and a ton of crime, and they focus on 10, 15 cases a year.
There's less crimes per capita than most countries.
Where it's really murky, it's a really murky decision in that moment, and nobody is able to put themselves in that situation. They got to try to figure out, and of course they just debate endlessly about the social ramifications of all this stuff, and they don't actually talk about the issues at hand, which is the details of the case. They don't They don't talk about it because they don't have anything to say about it. Because they don't know anything about it. So they just endlessly speculate. It just turns into... My big issue is that all of these shootings just turn into a big vehicle for all of the narratives that all these different social grievance groups want to bring up. The pro-cops, the anti-cops, the Black Lives Matter, the NRA, like all of them use these issues as a way of just talking about their agenda. When in reality, like what you're looking at is there's a cop whose life, whose reputation, whose job is possibly ruined or compromised in a serious way. There's like family members, or there's all these other people related to the victim who are dead, or there's the victim who's dead. All those people have like this gap in their lives.
Okay.
No one talks about that.
But to be fair,
you're a rambler.
Okay, he is. But to be fair, these aren't the only situations in which police
trying to make a living and doing the best I can.
Stop watching the podcast. Anyway, go ahead.
I mean, but the thing is, these aren't the only...
John! Keep it coming, John!
These aren't the only situations in which basically there is some kind of an abuse on the part of the police officer. Like, these are the ones where the police officer shoots and kills somebody.
Yeah.
Like, these are super crazy. Like, we're not talking about times where, maybe a police officer punches someone in the head, or throws someone into a brick wall, or whatever it is. But whatever it is,
one of the most famous cases of police brutality was a group of police officers beating up a black guy,
Rodney King
in '92.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, this isn't.
Yeah, that
like,
doesn't make a difference. They didn't have to do what they did to him.
So you're not just, you can't just take these, say like, oh look, these are these 5 cases that are muddled.
They literally, like, he could not, like, move after they were done with him.
So you can't just take these 5 cases and say like, look, these are examples of bad cops. But there's a lot of other examples, a lot of other things that have happened that aren't reported by the media, aren't reported by the people, because basically, like,
of course,
look, they get arrested for something, they get arrested for a DUI that say something completely legitimate, but then for some reasons the cop's having a bad day, he basically like trips him into a wall, throws his face into a wall, or punches him or something.
That happened to you?
No, this didn't happen to me. But like, this is a situation where like they wouldn't report that. Like no one would listen, no one would care. When for example, the lawyer asked me like, did he do anything to you, which was like not reported or not put on the case, essentially, in the file. Was he like, did he verbally or physically abuse you?
And you said no?
I said no.
Thomas, you idiot! You idiot! In this day and age, in this culture that we have right now, police hating.
I'm honest.
Oh, stop it! You're not actually honest. You're only honest when you're intoxicated.
You should have told him that he was being a jackass. The guy was a jackass. Look, a lot of cops have moments where they're assholes. I mean, it happens.
But at the same time, most good people who get pulled over have moments where they're assholes too.
Yeah.
And they're assholes to cops. Specifically.
Like it's the difficult thing is that a police officer is asked to hold like varying roles, right? On one hand, they're expected to keep the peace like a freaking member of the military, but on the other hand, they're expected to keep the peace like an RA at college, like just by talking to people and being nice and building relationships.
I don't think I've ever had a cop who was nice or built a relationship.
I've had many in my hometown of Concord, New Hampshire, and even here in Naples, Florida. There are plenty who I've actually talked to outside the pub. I've talked to a cop for 2 hours one night.
Yeah, they're expected to do.
And he was a great guy. He's just like, hey man, like, and he was chill. He was just telling me what he was doing there. I was telling him what I was doing there.
If he
no big deal.
Over and he thought that you were going to do something crazy, he might shoot you in the fucking face. That's the line. Like, they've got to cover the whole spectrum
because
of
I'm
behavior.
white. He wouldn't. I'm white. I have a red beard.
Anyway. I think Thomas wants to talk about something else.
No, Thomas wants to end.
No,
he thinks the time's over.
Tom's
Tom's a stickler. Tom's like John Dennis, and I'm Kirk Minahan, and you're Jerry Callahan up in New Hampshire or Boston or whatever, the sports radio guys.
More like
Back on the wall.
Joe Castiglione over here. And it's gone! Big Poppy, number 522. Passes Sad Williams.
Right? Oh, God. That was really boring. Okay.
I feel like it's more. What is it? Something in Holly?
Dale and Holly?
Or I remember it as Salk and Holly.
No. Dale, because Dale was gone for a little while, but Dale came back.
Yeah, okay.
Dale was gone for like a year or something like that.
And you're Holly because your
I'm
head
black?
looks like a testicle.
Thomas, stop saying that all black men's heads look like testicles.
No, just his. Anyway. So, guys, we'll pick this up on Sunday. Probably we won't talk about this again. But Mikey,
hopefully never.
By pick it up, we mean never discuss it again.
Hopefully Mikey will be with
Mikey
us on
will
Sunday.
hopefully be back so we can re-record that podcast
It
that
was
we
such
lost.
an awesome
It was
podcast.
a really good podcast.
I don't want to like build your hopes up or anything, but it was such an awesome podcast.
We had a healthy, strong debate.
For once.
For once.
Well, I guess tonight we we talked.
I debated. I was taking devil's advocate there for a little bit, but
Yeah,
anyway,
devil's advocate. Stop being such a bitch.
Anyway, yeah.
And then the cops are out to eliminate the African American race.
All right, so
Hunting down and murdering black folk.
So guys, I hope you have a good Friday, good weekend. We'll see you again on Sunday. Sorry for the sporadic podcast this week. We had
don't
4th of July.
apologize.
Sorry, Paul.
You mean back like a week ago?
Yeah, we had the 4th
Oh, yeah,
of
you can
July.
apologize for that. I thought you were
we
apologizing
We
for
missed
this
on
podcast.
Sunday,
Yeah,
and then last night was crazy.
We're sorry,
So
Paul.
hopefully, Paul, you checked this morning because you're probably the one who listened. We'll open it up in an hour.
Yeah, literally, I'm pretty sure that Paul is the only person who still listens to this. Thanks, BroChat, for not giving us any feedback whatsoever.
I feedback all the time. I just tell you how terrible you
On
are.
YouTube? That's the past, man.
All right.
In 2004.
All right. Thanks, John, for coming on,
Unforgivable.
talking about the old Hillary and
Thank you, John.
Rainbow. All right. We love you, Colby.
We love you, Colby.
listening to us,
Don't you
Colby.
ever forget it.
Keep listening to us, Colby.
We enjoy making your work baby day that much more pleasurable.
All right, guys, take it easy.
We'll never get used to it. Peace.
Watermelon.